What's up, guys? Welcome to another Goat3D Podcast. Glad to be back again after a week's miss from last week, but I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Mr. Goat3D and Canna Crypto. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, you want to go ahead? Yeah, it's going great, man. Honestly, we had a great week this week. Even though in the crypto market, it's been there's been a lot of fear and people are panicking at the moment. But rest assured, we're going to be analyzing the market today for you guys and telling you guys what's going on in the crypto sector right now. There's nothing to worry about. It's just a pullback. Investors that bought early are profit taking. We are reaching a point right now where it's going to get very, very interesting. And we got some stuff that I need to really, really show you guys when it comes to a global money supply and how it correlates with BTC. I'm going to be showing you guys today. So stay tuned. Okay, Canna, what about you, man? How you been?
Dude, I mean, it's been a crazy week managing people's emotions in the market and looking at the market. But as I've said many times, I follow data, not emotions. So I'm still very much bullish. And when I see more fears, when I get excited, this is the blood on the streets. This is the time to buy. Absolutely. I'm excited to dig into the charts, what's kind of going on with the apprehension of news and everything else. But no, I'm stoked. It always feels weird when we miss a Sunday show. So I appreciate those that do tune in. And I always take this moment to remind you, if you're not following Mr. Goat3D, and if you're not following Mr. Remy Rye or myself, give us a like, give us a follow, retweet the space. We have it all going on our socials right now. We're just shy of 100 watchers. Last episode, we had just shy of 1,000 people tuning in. And I always notice when the markets are in fear, we always have fewer viewerships. But when markets are pumping, it's when we get into the 3,000 to 5,000 viewers. So big props to all those that are here and joining us. If you do have any questions, throw it right down in our comments. We will get to them through the show if we can, and appreciate you all for tuning in.
Yeah, agreed. Amir, you've been chomping at the bit to get into some glorious information that you've discovered in the past couple of weeks. We've had this conversation a couple of times now in regards to money supply, and it's something that we've been posting in our chat a few times. But I think the topic of discussion today would be what's happening with Bitcoin prices and why is it so stable? What's happening in the market and what's happening in the macroeconomic global outlook?
Well, Remy Rye, I do have some glorious insights that I'm going to be showing you guys. All right. I'm going to go through some fundamentals first before we go into any other asset classes. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the U.S. economy, what state it is in right now. An economic release actually came on Friday for the US dollar at 10 a.m. Eastern time. On Friday, the March 14th, which was about the consumer sentiment. Consumer sentiment is very important, guys, because there's two factors that drive economic growth. One is productivity, okay? Like things like how healthy the job market is, how much businesses are producing, what are the wages like. And there's one more that is consumer spending. Okay, consumer spending is very, very important. When the consumer spending is low, it leads to slower economic growth. When the consumer spending is high, it leads to accelerated economic growth. Okay, so I'm going to look at one article that came for this release on Friday. Okay, which was on CNN Business. It says that American consumer sentiment plunges on trade war fears. That sounds negative, right? Okay, let's go find out what it is. So it says that consumer sentiment fell 11% this month to a reading of 57.9. A preliminary reading showed down from last month's reading of 64.7 and reaching its lowest level since November 2022. So it's telling us that the consumer sentiment has plunged, which is literally telling us that there's weaker spending now. all right, in the US economy, and this is leading to a slower growth, which is negative for the US dollar. The next statement says that earlier this month, Trump imposed 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, only to delay those duties again after pleas from business leaders. Then after US tariffs on steel and aluminum imports went into effect on Wednesday, the European Union and Canada responded swiftly with their own tariff. So there's clearly a trade and tariff war going on globally right now between the United States, Mexico, Canada, and the European Union. And this is causing a lot of uncertainty for investors and consumers. And this is also leading to higher prices because businesses, they have to cover some costs. So they have to raise the costs of their goods and services, which will lead to weaker spending on the consumer side. So if you want to, for example, buy a car and the car prices are going up because of the tariffs, you're going to be holding on to your money and not spending much. Okay, you're going to be waiting. And this, because people are not spending, it's going to lead to slower growth again, which is again negative for the US dollar. Over here, it says that American expectations for inflation in the year ahead climbed to 4.9% this month from 4.3%, the highest level since November 2022. So it's telling us that inflation is rising in the United States, and this could lead to the Federal Reserve cutting rates, which is mixed for the USD, the US dollar. Over here, it says that a closely watched real-time forecast of economic growth from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta shows the economy contracting a sharp 2.4% in the current quarter. So there's economic growth concerns, clearly, and this could actually lead to recession, all right? When you have low spending in the economy and because of this, it slows the economy down, it could lead into a deep recession, all right? And this could lead to the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates again, and it could also lead to less business investments, and this all leads to down the road towards a recession, which is negative for the US dollar. And we're just waiting for the Federal Reserve decision right now. So the Fed policymakers have signaled that they're inclined to hold interest rates steady next week and in the month ahead as they await for some clarity on how the economic response to Trump's barrage of policy changes. So the Federal Reserve is kind of neutral right now. They're waiting to get more data regarding inflation and the economic growth. And when we look at the US dollar and when we read this and we go into the US dollar, which is showing us what the investors actually, doing in the market, what they're thinking, okay, what concerns do they have? And the chart shows you that, okay? So when you're on the weekly time frame on the US dollar, you can see that US dollar in September 2024 had a run up all the way and created a high towards the January 2025 of this year. And then ever since then, there's been massive profit taking in the US dollar. We've seen a massive sell-off, an overextension below the March close, a massive bearish candle on the 3rd of March of this month, and massive volume as well. With that spike to the downside, and the EMAs are also flattening, curling to the downside, and they're about to cross, which is telling us that the buying pressure is starting to disappear and go away from the US dollar, and sellers are starting to become more dominant in the US dollar. And if this continues, if this selling pressure continues, we could go down and retest some areas of interest back in the 101-300 area right there. And once price goes into this area, we're going to see potentially some consolidation, some reaccumulation, where buyers and sellers will trade at fair value, and we'll see some consolidation. We see some ranging motion in the market. So at the moment, the dollar is looking bearish on the weekly. And
for those that don't know, what does that mean to the crypto market?
What does that mean to the crypto market? Well, money is now starting to leave the US dollar because it's getting sold off. Investors are taking their money off the table from the US dollar. They're pushing it somewhere else. It could be crypto, it could be gold, any other assets. Okay.
Well, we do know where that's going because I think recently it went into gold.
I was telling you to long gold for how long now? Let's be honest.
Yes,
yeah,
it's
if you look at gold right now, literally. It's been ever since the start of March. It's been pumping, and it's created a higher high, and it's gone to 3,000 for the first time, an all-time high for gold. It's never happened before. It just shows how massive the demand is, and this is a scalper's paradise as well. I was scalping gold on Friday as well. honestly, the momentum, the buying momentum is so good right now in gold. You can literally scalp it and have really good trades on gold right now.
It's a bit of a weird one for me when we talk about gold and we talk about the price of gold going up, because recently we've had news of Donald Trump and Elon Musk actually trying to decipher whether we actually have gold in Fort Knox and whether that gold is actually still there. And for me, I think that's like a bit of uncertainty on the actual supply of the gold as well. So it's actually strange to see that the price of it is going up with this kind of like uncertainty. I'm a conspiracy theorist person, so eventually, if this does lead to potential like fraudulent activity happening at Fort Knox with gold, what does that do for the price of gold, and where does that money go to after? That's like one of my theories. But yeah, sorry to kind of like steal the thunder light from you, Amir. That's a good analysis.
Well,
I know you did. Yeah, I know you did mention something in regards to M2 money supply and stuff like that, and how that correlates with the market as well. I don't know if you have anything to add on that before I probably like jump into something that I've got.
Can I have something to say?
Well, I was just saying, like, you know, like I've been saying gold for how long is where scared money always goes to, you know, and anytime we have market uncertainty with anything, it always goes back into gold. And that's why for, 5, 6, 8 weeks, I've been saying, longing gold is a smart decision. But what I was going to say there, I think right now, the funniest meme I've seen talking about your conspiracy theory and the gold reserves is, the spray painting the bricks gold to make them look like they have more gold than the actual reserve. I'd be curious if the actual numbers of the reserve come out. I don't think they will personally release that information because I think there is some discrepancy there. But I'll dig into gold a little more when I do the cash money flow myself. But yeah, let's head it back to Mr. Goat.
And yeah, man, the market has been going crazy like ever since the start of the year, and you can actually see that from the high volatility. You can look at you can look at the volatility index, and ever since the start of the year, it's been on a bullish run. And what this means is that there's a lot of fear in the market. Okay. And there's a lot of high impulses in the market and a lot of massive momentum. And this is actually scalpers' paradise again. If you're a scalper, you would love to see more volatility and momentum in the market. But ever since the start of this month, it has been pulling back. So the markets are becoming a little bit more stable now. This is what it's indicating. And investors are getting a little bit calmer now than they were last month. Or the 2 months ago in January. And stock markets, let's look at US stocks right now. It looks like we've reached an area. It is bearish, okay? As you can see from the EMAs, we are in a bearish downtrend at the moment. After having massive higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, consolidation. We've now had some breathing room. We went down. Markets are slowing down a little bit, and we've reached an area of demand where price previously broke out in September 2024, same as the US dollar. That's when it broke out. And we've reached an area of consolidation where price is just going to move sideways until we see some aggressive orders coming in, from either side, buyers or sellers, and we get the market moving again. And Bitcoin, we're going to look at something very, very interesting today. I've got this global money supply M2 script from a guy called, I'll get his channel just to give him a shout out. He done amazing work. From a guy called Colin Talks Crypto. He's one of the first few guys that actually found and created. He actually created the script. Yeah, he put all the countries' money supplies all together in one script, which is now the global money supply, as represented as that. And I've moved. So the black line is the global M2 money supply, and the orange line is Bitcoin. I've moved this by 72 days back. So yeah. So when you have it in neutral, or when you have the chart as neutral, like how it is, it will look like this. It will look like this, okay? When you move the chart 72 days ahead, right there,
behind,
you get a very, very good correlation with Bitcoin. And as I've heard from his videos, the correlation is 84% correct. So every movement, like it totals to 84%, accuracy. And it looks like Bitcoin is literally following the money supply like to the T. It's going up. It's doing exactly what the money supply is doing. And the money supply it's already consolidated and it's moving up. So it's literally telling us what's going to happen in the future in the next 72 days for Bitcoin. And one thing that's even better is the total crypto market cap. So the total crypto market cap on the weekly is moving up from this ascending channel, right? And when you go on the daily and you turn on the money supply here, it looks amazing. Look at this. It's literally telling us this is the bottom, right? So, and it's correlating with the bottom of the channel as well. This is I find this a lot more accurate, like beautiful than the Bitcoin one. Don't you think, guys? Look how accurate this is. But yeah, that's all I had to say, to be fair, about total market cap and Bitcoin. If you want to go dive deeper into it and look at the price action, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'll touch on something before kind of moves on to some of the price action. I guess with the money supply and everything, a lot of people don't actually know what the money supply actually means and what it actually does. And that's just macroeconomics kind of like information that not a lot of us are taught. But macroeconomics is something that I've learned for the past couple of years, something that I studied whilst I was in college and whilst I was in university as well. But the M2 supply is definitely something that's going to be kind of like a key factor within this cycle and this bull run. And a lot of it will be down to the increased liquidity that will be available for market participants, especially like businesses and consumers, where we have like lower interest rates as well. So it makes it easier for people to borrow. It makes it easier for businesses to borrow as well. And it leads to further investment as well. And especially in terms of like economic growth. And that's something that Donald Trump's been talking about a lot. I mean, when we had the last increase for like quantitative easing, and when last time we had, the M2 kind of like explode was COVID period, where a lot of money was like funded into the economy so that it could boost and stimulate growth. And we haven't had that recently. Amir, you've mentioned it multiple times that we need kind of like a factor that's going to happen that makes, printing and a lot of quantitative easing. But the tariffs is something that's indirectly kind of like impacting that as well, in my theory. I mean, Trump doesn't have to directly impact it, but raising the tariffs itself, it makes it more expensive for domestic prices. It increases the wages as well, and it kind of like forces the Fed's hand indirectly, which a lot of people ain't really like looking at into too much detail. But I've kind of like studied macroeconomics for the past I'm not sure however long it's been, multiple years. But a lot of crypto investors don't look at it, especially meme coin traders as well. But I guess that's something that we'll be learning whilst we're here as well. I don't know if you want to share my screen, can I'll just touch on something as well that I've kind of like had in the past couple of years from someone called Tech Dev. I think I've shared you this guy before previously. He's been so accurate with everything that's happened previously. But a lot of things that people ain't really looking at as well is the Chinese 10-year bond yield, which is something that has a direct impact on crypto as well. And when you couple it with the US money supply, the M2, whenever it makes a bullish crossover, we always have like a BTC run, which a lot of people haven't figured out yet as well. I've just retweeted this on my page as well, so if anyone wants to have a deeper look at it, you can take a look. But the divergence performance in government bonds and the Chinese 10-year yield has been a theory that's been talked about since 2022 recently, with I think this is a letter, it's an article that I've kind of like paid attention to. They've got a Twitter as well. It's the Kobayashi letter, where they've talked about it in multiple ways. But the Chinese 10-year bond yield also has an impact on the cryptocurrency prices. So when you want to look at the prices of Bitcoin, when you want to look at the prices of a lot of these stocks that we have, you have to take into more into account the macroeconomic feasibility of the country's performing, the GDP. There's so many factors that you have to take into equation. But there's direct indicators with the M2 and with the Chinese 10-year yield. So that is definitely something that you want to be looking at when you kind of want to make your decision. If you want to invest in crypto, if you're not in yet, just look out for those indicators. Sorry, Kana.
No need to apologize. You hit the nail on the head, brother. Like, I think, and this is what I love when we talk about this kind of stuff, is it brings more awareness to the different aspects of the money flow. And you hit the nail on the head as well when we were talking about these tariff wars. Markets hate instability and uncertainty. And right now, with what's going on with Trump and the tariffs, I honestly believe it's posturing. Like, he knows he's not going to get these massive numbers that he's throwing on Canada, Mexico, China, and Europe with the recent 200% online and things like that. But what he's wanting to do is to bring people to the table to realign the American economy a bit, and you ask for 25 and you hopefully settle on 8 or 10 or whatever that magic number is, and I think that's what's happening right now in this tariff war, is this posturing of, we need to, he wants to renegotiate everything. And I mean, he's bringing out laws and crazy stuff to fuel his fire at the moment. But I don't think it's going to last for too much longer. And I think with last week, we had, a ton of market data with PPI, the job numbers that Mr. Goat3D was talking about earlier, and things like that. And right now, big money is, for lack of better words, sphincters are clenched. They don't like this uncertainty. They're sidelined. They want to know what's going on before they dump it in. And that's where opportunities are made. You guys have known me for how long. I'm always, don't be a sheep, don't sell fear, buy it. The whales accumulate when people are in panic, and this manipulation is to create panic. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, lots of big buys from whatever his fund is, the World Equity Fund or whatever it's called, and a few others right now. But yeah, let's dig into the money flow cycle. Why not? So let's zoom in on my screen. Sorry, I got multiple computers and things going here. The total market cap is all the money in crypto and how it relates. So here we're looking at 3 days. We were in this consolidation box for a long time. We broke out here at the end of February, and we're trying to curl, right? The belly of the micro bear and the micro bull is what you hear me talk about a lot. And it's starting to look like we're starting to see these areas where it's cooled off. We found a bottom and things like that. And we want to see movement to the upside. Obviously, we're going to see some resistance at this 2.84. Then we're going to see resistance at, the psychological level of 3.09. And as I say, I always do this kind of quick and dirty. And if we zoom in, when we were talking on the daily, we drew this rectangle last time, right? And I was saying I was going to be looking for consolidation. And this was a while ago that we last met now, because we missed last Sunday, between this 2.45 and this 2.73, 2.8. And, we wicked just below it. And if we go back, we could have probably cleaned this up a bit and caught that wick proper if we moved it to these candle bodies there. Actually, just out of curiosity, if we do move it to those candle bodies right there, we're just below that wick. So that's what I mean by quick and dirty. It's not TA is not an exact science. It is to paint a picture, but you can see where we rejected. We rejected at the top of this wick up in here where we had break in here and boom, right here. And part of this rejection was the news last week. And I believe we will probably consolidate this week as well. I don't see rockets this week. I think we'll probably consolidate in this area here, 2.6, 2.5. We might get some more stinky wicks because we have retail sales month on month, not a big deal. Building permits, yeah, housing starts, yeah, it affects the market, but not as major as this last one right here. I thought we had inflation. Did I not? The interest rate. There it is. Yeah. Sorry. And I think until we have this on the 19th, we're still going to have some consolidation up and down in the total market cap of crypto because we have scared money. And scared money it sets off the avalanche of fear and paper hands and all the other expressions. And if we zoom into a 4-hour, we had a bullish, we went up, and it looks like we're going to get a micro bear and continue to, like I said, hold this this area in here. Even though we are coming down into a buy position on the stochastic here on the 4-hour, but this is still indicating a little bit of downwards pressure. And I think this downwards pressure is going to come from the news this week, the tariff wars and things like that. So overall, big picture, still bullish. I mean, on the 3-day, we're still well above the 200 EMA. We haven't even tested it. I mean, we came testing it back here in August, and that was similar fear and everything else going on. And in this period in here, everybody said, the chicken littles, the market is over. We're going down to the 50s and the 40s for Bitcoin. And then we ripped. We absolutely ripped. And we were in that channel. And this is when I was telling you, let's get in the market. And when December came and I said, hey, we're not in a alt season quite yet in dominance, but we had all those runs and alts is what we were seeing, and we're still good to go. And then when we even zoom in on the 1 hour and we get really low, we can see we had critical fear. This why we have this indicator here, which is part of our NFA OFC package, which is our critical fear and greed. At 2.65, we're firing critical fear in the market. And that's typically when smart money starts to enter, and we're starting to see that belly and starting to come up. But like I said, I think we're going to see consolidation in the markets. And every time, like I mentioned earlier too, when we have fear in any market, cryptocurrency, S&P 500, gold cranks. And we have been in a bullish market or short-term bull since the end of October. And I've been telling you to long gold. And until we start to see this curl or critical fear to pull back, which we've had it fire a few times, we've shaken it off now on the 3-day. We're right in the middle of stochastic. We're still high on the RSI. Until we start to see gold pull down, we won't see the real money dump into higher risk assets such as crypto, and gold right now isn't showing too much of a slowdown. On the 1 hour, we're having consolidation. We shook off the critical fear or critical greed, I should say, here, because we had so much up in gold. We finally shook off critical gear, and we're jumping in between this consolidation range for the price of gold. And I can see gold continuing to go back up to the just shy of $3,000 mark this week, primarily because of what we were talking about of the news events and the interest and blah, 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 and the tariff wars. And scared money always goes back to gold. And when we're looking at Bitcoin and dominance, that's Bitcoin, not dominance. This is this channel that I've been talking about for, since back here when I said in December we didn't have an altcoin cycle because we haven't broken out of this channel. We hit the bottom here. If we continued the channel, we would have hit the top. We're hoping to see some cool off and to the downside. And we want that for the alt season. We want that for the run on alts. But to me right now, if we look at this, it makes sense. I mean, resistance here, turned into support here, turning into resistance. It makes sense to me. We're going to float between 60.5% to 62% this week. And as I've said many times, we want to see this start to curl towards the downside. We want this to come down because then our alts will run and we'll start to see that in the market. Where is Bitcoin right now? Well, Bitcoin has taken a little bit of a beating, but it's actually still holding very strong. So on the 3-day, we can start to see this belly of the bear. We have our bearish cross here. Our last bullish cross was in September. We rode it all up. We started consolidating. And then in February, with all the problems we had with the Libra, with the tariff, and with everything else going on, we had to pull down. And I've said, we could get down to those 72 in here and still maintain bullish momentum. We might even possibly get a stinky wick quickly down there. I don't think so, but we might, but we're still well ahead of this 200 EMA. I'm not switching to bearish momentum until we break this 200 EMA. Mm-hmm. And we're still well above it. And we're starting to have this belly, this curl. So to me, it makes sense that we're going to see Bitcoin consolidate probably in this area. We'll hit this resistance, the 95, pull back down. We might get these stinky wicks, like I said, into this level here. We might get a stinky wick. But I think once we can ride out these tariff wars, once we can ride out what's happening with the news on not the retail sales, but on our inflation on the 19th, we'll start to see Bitcoin hold this area and then turn around. And then the same thing again. All of these levels of Bitcoin are going to turn into resistance. Support and resistance makes sense that we'll see rejection at 87. Makes sense that we'll see rejection at the low 90s. Makes sense we'll see some rejection at the high 90s, and then the even number 100, 102 in there, psychological, and then of course our all-time highs. It makes sense that we're going to see rejections and pullbacks. Nothing is straight down, nothing is straight up. It's this wave that we need to get. But what we need to do here is retest this top box for us to break. And I'm still thinking we're going to see the $124,000, $125,000 Bitcoin in the somewhat near future. Now, Ethereum has been tough this cycle. And I was having this talk today with Coco, for those that know Coco, that I kind of wonder if the dogma that we see of cycles, that we have a Bitcoin cycle, we have an Ethereum cycle, and then we have an altcoin cycle. I kind of wonder if that dogma is done. And the reason I say that, and the reason I question that, is because when we used to have these very stereotypical cycles in crypto, we didn't have a lot of cryptos. And a crypto is attention focused. And right now, with the meme cycles and Solana and all these other things, you know, we're having millions of cryptos added every month, you know, and there is only so much money and so much attention. And Ethereum's kind of been getting a bad rap. And we've been in a buy situation for Ethereum for quite some time. I mean, it's been signaling, if you use stochastic as a cross, as a buy, it's been signaling since the end of December to buy. And this is why I always say one indicator is never perfect, because if we used right when it first started there as a buy, just below the median on Bollinger to current market price, it's down 42.83%. And right now on our, I always say, you know, our cross as boss, I'm not seeing a belly yet. It might want to hold this area of support, but we could easily go down to the 15s right now. There's a lot of support at these levels here for Ethereum. Just same thing, quick and dirty, right? We've got a lot of consolidation in these areas right here. And I mean, we could probably even just continue to extend this and see that there could be more downwards pressure, even though I believe in Ethereum. It's a great product, but the attention's not there. And the one thing I've been learning more this cycle than past is attention is everything. So do I have bags of Ethereum? Absolutely. Do I think we'll probably level out somewhere in this region and start to move towards the upside? Absolutely. But it's going to take, for what we talked about before in the beginning of this show, to rectify that and go from there. And I would really like to see this start to be our curl. Maybe use this as a retest, and then onwards and upwards, it would actually probably, you know, retest here before it would go, as this is our high. But this is what we need to look for. But the same thing, this is on the 3-day, and we're below the 200 EMA. But as soon as we go on to the weekly, we're there. You know, and we're not seeing that with a lot of other tokens. So even though we're in a buy, I still think there might be a little more short-term pain. Could it go down to 1,000? Absolutely. Nobody has the crystal ball. Could be a stinky wick. Could be a good place to put an entry. But it takes literally the tariff wars to end, and like, we had good numbers on the PPI. All of last week's numbers out of the US were great. And normally that would have kickstarted the market. But because of the uncertainty with tariffs and everything else going on, it's caused this depression, short term, for lack of better words, in the actual market. And you guys know me, I hate fucking Solana. And I've hated it for a long time. And the only reason I do, I won't get into it, but Solana right now looks better than Ethereum. it looks like we're starting to curl. We've started to see movement to the upside as well. And we have all the indications there. You know, we have a lot of liquidity building up on the 3 days, but it wants to go towards its all-time high again. And the reason I think Solana's possibly outperforming right now is because of attention, what we were just talking about. And this purple box that we drew, I don't know how long ago now, we're breaking into it, you know. And I mean, if we went down to the wicks of this area or to the candle support here, right there. And this is what I mean by quick and dirty. If you go in and you dig and you really line everything up, you know, as your major resistance at critical fear here, you would have caught this as a beautiful entry. Liquidity building up here would have told you as well. But no one's ever going to time the bottoms. No one's ever going to time the tops. You kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt. But with all the panic and fear that's going on right now in the market, this should be your indicator to buy. Fear is when you buy. And we talked about, hey, we're about to have a breakout. We're in the formation. A breakout doesn't mean the upper or the lower side. It means it's going to happen. And we got the breakout on the daily. Look at that. But now we can see here, we're starting to stabilize. Stochastic RSI is telling us we want to move up. RSI is low. All of this right now is pointing to the upwards direction. We might still get a stinky wick into these areas here. You know, you might get down to that 112. Doubtful. You know, if I was to put a stinky wick bid in right now, it would probably be at the 119, 120 mark. Might get a wick. And then with the news this week, we might take off. So I think that right now is kind of, you know, all the majors on the money flow and where we're looking and kind of how it relates. But what I've noticed in being in, you know, various different projects and different communities is fear is rampant, and fear follows fear, and the herd mentality. This is where people get wrecked. This is not the time to sell. This is the time to buy. And if you're all in on a project on anything, I don't care what the project is, you didn't follow proper strategy of A, always having money on the sidelines, B, being dollar cost averaging. You know, crypto is highly volatile. It highly responds to the rest of the markets that we talk about. And as fast as this can go down, it can go up. And with everything going on, I can't say bear. And I'll be the first one to admit on this show that I'm cashing out. Remember, I said that in December. I was like, now's the time to get out. I was off by about a week and a half. I got so much hate. I got so much crap. But now is the time to buy. And if you've been following me when I said get out and get in, you'd be laughing right now. You know, and there's a lot of good projects that are going on, which we'll dig into here shortly as well. But yeah, money flow cycle, that's my 2 cents. Curious as to your thoughts, gentlemen.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think from my perspective, the Ethereum run itself is determined on many factors. I mean, previously, like we said, with the previous Ethereum run, it was mainly due to meme coins and NFTs that pushed the price of Ethereum up. I mean, the recent spike in Ethereum's price, where we saw it go back up to 4.1K, was obviously off the back of the news of a Bitcoin strategic reserve, which was a potential thing. And, you know, Ethereum was one of the things where we thought, okay, yeah, Ethereum's going to be added to that basket as well. And that's where we saw the price spike up to 4.1K. I mean, now it's down, you know, I mean, it's at like 1.8, 1.9, which isn't too much of a drop off. But, you know, we've seen obviously Ethereum bounce back from previous crashes before. Kind of certain that it will again too, with obviously Donald Trump and his world liberty financials, they're buying up Ethereum in mass quantities. I think Ethereum will perform. It will, do what it should do. It should break its all-time highs again. But like you said, with attention, there's so many coins out there now that you probably would get better gains in something like a Solana. And myself and Ami have had this conversation, I think, last week, where we was talking about the prices of Ethereum and Solana. There's no point selling your Solana bags now. Like, Solana is like, it's in a decent spot. I think same with BNB token. When we look at BNB and the price of BNB's probably held up the best alongside Bitcoin. When you look at some of these major caps, and that's due to the fact of the attention, like you said, where meme coins are running on BNB, and meme coins are running on Solana as well. So, Ethereum doesn't have that much attention right now. It doesn't have the luxurious gloss of the NFTs where, it used to be, where we had like Bored Apes flying, we had Azukis flying, but, I think that comes eventually when NFT cycle probably comes back after, Bitcoin's officially topped, and then we start to see the liquidity and the money flow cycle come down into, some of the small assets and smaller market cap coins. And then we probably see like an Ethereum run and an NFT run. But yeah, for now, I can't see why it wouldn't still have room to go down to the lower levels, where you said there's always the potential of it going down to $1,000 or potentially even lower. Who even knows? But yeah, we don't have a crystal ball. But like you said, dollar cost average, that's the main thing. As long as you're DCAing on your entries all the way down, there's no reason to worry, or no reason to say it's the end of the bull market right now. But yeah, I think that's probably like the main thing I'd say. Amir, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, I just think that people should just have a little bit of patience and just let the market play out. It's a natural process, of how the market operates. When you reach new all-time highs and you break higher and higher and higher, eventually the price needs to stop and profit taking needs to take place, and price needs to pull back again for the smart money and the serious buyers to enter back in again. So it just requires a little patience. For beginners, of course, it's a little bit scary, especially if crypto is the first financial asset that you're entering to trade in. It's the most volatile, and because of the low liquid nature of crypto, so there's not a lot of money trading in crypto as it would be on like asset classes like the stock market, like precious metals like gold, which are full of liquidity, full of money trading every day, trillions of dollars a day trading in those assets. Crypto is nowhere near that yet. So these kind of volatile actions that happen in the market are kind of natural because of the illiquid nature of crypto. So there's nothing to be scared of. And now that we got the global money supply as a really, really reliable indicator, 84% accuracy, it's actually a very good tool that I'm going to start using to figure out when the bear market starts. I think it will be a very good indicator for the bear market as well, so you can give us a signal in advance on when to get out the market. So I'll definitely be using that, and I will be informing everyone in the group about it when the time comes. But yeah, guys, honestly, Ryan, have you got any plays you want to look at?
I do. So if I can just share my screen quickly, I can talk through some of the stuff that we've been walking through in our chat. I guess from the last podcast, which probably would have been missed, was we hit 142x on something called Brain Fart, which was posted by I am Sparky in our Cryptoverse private group chat. I think I did make a few X's on this. I think I made like 10 to 20x on this. And then there was a few more as well. Of course, it was going to be fart related. One called Aspay, which we did catch at 12k market cap. And Aspay, I think, eventually ran all the way up to around 576k market cap. I did hit a 20x on this. I sold quite early. I sold around 230k, 300k market cap, and it did go all the way to 600k. So with this market, I guess there is still a lot of plays where you can make the odd 10x here and there. And then eventually you can still make gains, but it is it's a drained market right now. You're risking capital playing in plays that are just freshly launched. If if that's something that you're not into. If you don't have stop losses in with your plays, like more than likely, if you're jumping in a freshly launched coin, you probably will eventually lose your capital. So always play with small amounts. I always say I only play with $100 to $150. And then I'll probably just jump on this briefly, which was hyper pigmentation. But I'll save this one for Canna, as Canna is the one that kind of like raised attention within our chat with hyperpigmentation. But I've moved over to some plays on the base network as well. And this is an AI play, which is Clizzer. This recently launched. I was able to grab an entry around 1 mil market cap when it came back down. And it's an AI play. It's on base network. I mean, base is utilized within the Ethereum blockchain space, and it is based off, Coinbase actually having their own layer on there, and it makes it cheaper for fees as well when you're swapping. This isn't a base promotional advert for you to invest on base, but if you are, you have Ethereum, base is much cheaper within trading. It's like maybe like 20 cents or 30 cents for a swap, whereas on Ethereum you're looking at $5 to $10 on swap. So if you do find AI plays on Ethereum and base network, more than likely they are performing a little bit better than some of the coins that are launching on Solana right now. I've seen that there's less sell pressure on the base network and the BNB chain right now compared to Solana. But Clizzer is something that I'm looking at. It is AI play. I am looking at multiple AI plays on the base network. But yeah, if you're in the Cryptoverse private group chat, I'll always be sharing plays that I do find. It hasn't been the best the last week or two because of the market conditions, but we are hoping that it will get better. And for sure, do not risk your money on fresh launched coins. Wait for them to bottom out. For this is something that I saw. It rolls all the way to 3 mil market cap. It came all the way down to 1 mil, and I did have base Ethereum left as well. So I was like, sure, why not? Like, I'll just drop some cash in here. There is another one as well, which is DRB, which we did catch in our private group chat at. I think this was at 5 mil market cap. It did run all the way to around 30 mil market cap off the top of my head. Yeah, 35 mil market cap off the top of my head. So this is another base play on Ethereum. I was able to get a decent entry around, it was like 10 mil, 11 mil market cap. It still is around the same levels here. But DRB is debt relief bot, and this is something that was created by Grok itself. So you can reply to Grok now on Twitter now as well. So Grok is now its own kind of like fundamental statement piece within Twitter, and it can interact with people as well. But Grok has been sent tokens for DRB, and it collates tax payments from it. So Grok actually holds the tax payments itself, because Grok created a wallet. So it is an AI play. It would be funny to see go all the way to 100 mil or 200 mil, and Grok becomes one of the first AIs to actually obtain $1 million from tax debt. But that's something that Elon may kind of like pique his interest to and just be like, oh, what's this? But who knows? He hasn't been shilling cryptocurrency coins for the past couple of years now. So it is kind of like it's like a hypothesis play. It's like a what if play, but only play with small capital. Yeah, that's all I've got for now. Canna, do you want to take away hyperpigmentation?
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about a couple here. Hold on, I got to get to my screen. Let's get into hyperpigmentation. So this is one I brought on the show at 350K.
You need to share your screen, Canna? Oh yeah, you got it. There we go.
You can see it now.
Yeah.
So this has gone from 350,000 to about 5 million since we've talked about it. And I mean, it just hasn't seemed to slow down. And if you want to learn more about it, you can pause the screen here. Here's the contract address and all the information on it. And more what I want to talk about when I talk about hyper, or when I talk about Fart Boy, and I have a new one for you guys today as well, is I want to talk about what is a CTO versus a regular meme? And a CTO is a community takeover. And I think this cycle, we're going to see a different meme kind of run where it takes these memes originally to be rugged and then have a community grab them and run with them. And I think that's where the attention should be if you're looking at memes. And remember, memes should only be a portion of your portfolio. Remember, diversification is key. I've been asked a few times this last couple of weeks. People have said, "Hey, I've seen you post about this meme," or "I've seen you post about that." And I have to tell them, I'm like, well, yeah, if you follow my streams, I'm in about 32 different tokens. And between AI, gaming, RWA, layer ones, and memes. And when we focus on them on our streams, we try to pinpoint the best ones and where we think, the attention should be. And the difference between a CTO and a meme, for example, from Cryptoverse, your guys' community, is you guys are in and out on a lot of these new memes. And I don't even know if we can call a lot of these new tokens memes. Another talk I was having with Coco today is he made a good point, is they're tickers versus memes, because memes have a community, they have a base, they have things behind them. Whereas a lot of the tokens that are pump and dump are tickers. And I think when you get into community takeovers and see the teams involved and the community involved, that's where you can really kind of set and forget. You can try and swing trade them, very difficult. If you want easy, smart money, like I did with Pepe Coin, Pepe, Doge, and a lot of the others, it's just buy low, fucking walk away. Forget about it. Like, there are so many people that have been in my DMs. Oh my God, yesterday there was 12,900 holders, and today there's 12,800 or 700. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably bots, over that short period of time. And people focus too much on the smaller time frames with these projects. And I think these are really easy to just kind of set and forget. Find these gems, these communities like Wall Street Bets, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Fart Boy, Hyperpigmentation, and a new one that I'm going to share that actually, hopefully next week, and I was going to discuss with you guys before the show, but we didn't have much of a chance, is I want to start bringing some guests onto our show that can be from these communities and talk about them and go in from there. And who are the heads of these CTOs? With Fart Boy, we know this was a Coins Kid crew. Oh, sorry, hold on. Why is that showing Cryptoverse right now? Whose screen am I sharing and not mine?
You're sharing my screen.
There we are. Thank you. So, Fart Boy, I'd love to get Coins Kid on the show. I'm going to reach out to him and talk about it. And if we look at this, this is when we told you to buy here. So you're still up. Hasn't had pullback? Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we're in a nice wedge and looking for expansion. It's been following what the market has been doing, like a lot of other tokens, And where are my quick draw tools? Here's our wedge. We've come up, we've bounced around, 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. And here's where it's going to get interesting. And then with the money flow coming in, we'll start seeing it. And same thing, we're going to have levels of support and resistance where we're going to see us pull back, need to retest, break up, pull back, need to retest, break up, you know. And if you want to look at Fart Boy, now is a great time to accumulate. You know, this is a $40 million market cap. If you need to look at it, here's the official Twitter. I'm part of the team on this one. Full disclosure, I got in when I disclosed this on the show. I've been buying the dips. I bought here, I bought here, I bought here, here. You know, and I believe in the CoinSkid community. I believe this is going to rip. Hyperpigmentation, I bought in when I announced it on the show. And to be honest, this was kind of one I set and forgot. And I checked it the other day and I just was like, holy shit. And it's just been ripping. It's outside of, you know, the market. It's been outperforming it, you know. And I would recommend jumping in the Discord, looking at the link tree, and you can see what the project is about. And I hope to have I did talk to the CTO that's in charge, the team, and they're willing to come on our stream and talk about the project and how they're doing things differently. They want to bring utility to the meme space, which they don't believe has been done before. And they have some pretty cool ideas on how they're going to do that, which has been different, which I think is quite exciting. And then the surprise for the show today is this one here. This is Captain B&B, and this is Coco. And Coco, I was mentioning earlier, he's agreed to come on the show as well, and he's kind of leading the team on this one. And Coco's kind of following Fart Boy and following the rest of the market where it's had this downturn. But this is the first meme on B&B. This has a cool team behind it and a cool team of builders. And ironically, it's about the same holders as Fart Boy. It looks very similar in price structure. It has about the same amount of holders. And this has been one of those first memes on B&B that has actually been retweeted by CZ, sorry, and has received some attention from Binance. And when it comes to CTOs and memes, I bet on community, I bet on team, and I bet on attention. And I do a lot of research and digging into them. We all know that there's going to be ups and downs along all the way. These are not, in my opinion, get rich overnight things. These are put some money in it and walk away and come back in a few months and you'll be laughing. And even if this one, just saying like Fart Boy, if it goes back up to its previous level of resistance, this one's a lot more. This one's fallen a lot more. 748%. I don't think we're going to see this return on Sol. I don't think we're going to see this return on BNB. I don't think we're going to see this return on a lot of other tokens. And if you know me, this is, pretty shocking for me to say because I've been anti-meme most of my trading career.
I know.
And one of the things I've learned from this experience, this cycle, is don't fade the attention. Do not fade the builders. Do not fade the people that are working and the teams behind them, because you'll be left on the sidelines, in my opinion. And I think even some of the tokens we mentioned, and not to put you on the spot here, Mr. Goated, Fred, I didn't know anything about this one. Do you have a moment to jump into this? Because we've talked about it now a few shows. Where's Fred at? Where's it looking like?
Yeah, let's look
And
at
maybe you can revisit a little bit of that. I'm sorry to throw you on the spot here. Just tell me when your screen's ready and I'll share it. But I think for people that are late to this bull run, because we're still in a bull run, but we're in the bear trap of the bull run. We have our next big move, and then I think we're over. You're not going to see these 100x's, these 200x's on any of the majors. You have to find these gems that are out there and allocate a percentage of your allocation of investment funds to these projects to be able to hopefully, say you have 4 or 5 of them, hopefully 3 hit. Not everyone's going to hit. But the ones that do make up for the losses. And that's where I think a portion of your portfolio has to be. And like I said earlier, I used to fade memes like crazy. These guys will tell you. And if you followed me for the last 5 years, you will know. But you can't fade where the money is at. And I realized that. And that's where we're at now. Take it away, Amir.
Yeah, let's have a look, man. Let's have a look at Fred. I'm going to look at it on the 8-hour time frame for Fred. So it looks like we've gone through the bearish phase of Fred, this pullback, this lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and we've reached an area where price accumulated last month, and accumulated for about a month until we saw this breakout. If I bring my volume on as well, we saw this breakout, and there was a lot of volume on that breakout. As you can see here, there was a lot of volume. And when that happened,
hold on a sec. We got something going on here.
Can you see my screen?
We had the wrong screen on. Sorry.
Oh.
Running too many computers and too many screens. My bad.
Oh,
we're back to you, brother. We're back to you.
All right, we're on the 8-hour on the Fred, and it looks like we've gone away from the bearish phase that we had on Fred. We had these lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and then we went into this accumulation area where Fred just started consolidating and accumulating, and then we had this bullish move on Fred, which confirmed that buyers were interested in this area, and it left this demand zone in place in this area around the 2.27 area, and we can confirm this with the volume. So in that period when the Fred pumped, we had a massive surge in volume. RSI volatility just kicked into Fred like it was crazy, and then we had a pullback back into that demand zone, and then buyers came in again, consolidated, reaccumulated, and then we had another move up. So we are now operating in this structure right now. Okay, we are in this current bullish structure, we are still holding this bullish structure. As long as we don't break below this area. If we break this below this area, then I'm thinking that we might go into the next demand zone. So we're sitting. If I zoom in, right now it looks like we are sitting on this demand zone over here. Okay, and this is where price went and broke out for the second time. Okay, this was the first time, this was the second time. If this area fails to hold, then I'm thinking that it's going to go to the other demand zone where the first move occurred. Okay, and it could bounce from there, or if this area doesn't hold. And I am seeing some eco lows in this area, some buyers that are buying off this support, and we are still below. Well, we went up, and the EMAs curled over here. Why do I always get the wrong tool? The EMAs curled over here, and they crossed, and we went through another pullback over here, and it seems like the EMAs are squeezing next to each other, telling us that price is consolidating, which it is, and we're just waiting for that squeeze again, and then the cross to confirm that, and we need the candles to come above this cross to confirm that the bulls are back and dominating again. But right now, bears are in control, so it's a little bit too early to buy. But if you are looking to buy for the cycle and hold until the cycle top, it's not a bad idea. No financial advice to DCA here and DCA in these two areas. It's not a bad idea. I think this still has potential as peanut goes up. Let me get a peanut chart up. Peanut and Fred are kind of correlated. So when peanut is on Coinbase as well. So when peanut begins to pump and breaks this downward channel, Fred will also follow. Let's bring Fred back on again. See, the charts look very similar. If you put the charts next to each other, it looks very similar. Look at that. So there is some type of correlation here between peanut and Fred. And peanut goes up, Fred will go up. So, and the return on investment on Fred is a lot better than peanut, because this is currently sitting at 3 million market cap, and peanut is sitting at like 160 million market cap, if I'm not right, 180 million market cap. So the return on investment is huge if you buy into Fred. That's why I'm buying a lot of Fred, because I know that it follows peanut, and peanut is on Coinbase, and Fred will eventually, once it follows peanut, it will eventually get listed on the bigger exchanges as well, and that will bring even more liquidity into this token, and then it will just blast off and go into the higher market caps.
See, that's why I kind of like Fart Boy, Hyper, Pigmentation, and Captain B&B, because they're still at a little bit of a lower market cap, so those gains are there. The bigger gains are there to be made, in my opinion. But I'm really curious. I'm really curious to watch. Somebody in our comments said, join the Fart Boy community. And that is something that is news since we've talked about Fart Boy from day one to now, is Fart Boy now has its own Discord. So you can jump on our, hold on, waiting on my computer again. You can jump on the Twitter. Good grief. Man, my connection is slow today. You can jump on the Twitter and you'll see join the Fart Boy server there. Lots of really interesting things going on in the Discord if you want to see more about that. Same with all of these other communities we've talked about, but some of them had Discords for a little bit longer. But it's pretty exciting. Ladies and gentlemen in the community, there's 508 of you. I would like to say thank you for joining us. We, as I said in the beginning, we usually do have a little bit of a smaller audience when the markets are in fear. If you're not following Mr. Goat and Mr. Remy Rai or myself, it would mean a world of love to us if you gave us a follow. If you retweeted what we do, that means the world. It gives us the energy to keep doing what we do. And thank you for tuning in. We do try to come in every Sunday. We do miss the odd one here and there, either due to travel plans or due to family, as we did last Sunday and about, a month ago when I was traveling. So once again, thanks for tuning in. And if you are in the community, you can always comment and ask us questions throughout the show. If you want us to look at any token or anything that you're in and give us, give you our analysis on that particular token, let us know. I'm not seeing any of that at the moment. Mr. Remy Rai, I'm going to take you off mute for a second. No, I can't because you've chosen. There you are. Do we have any last words?
No, I was going to say, I think I might be glitching on my Twitter as well, because it goes live and then it disappears from the live as well. So I think we probably would have got a few more people in as well. But yeah, I think it's pretty much the same. It's around 500, 600 when markets are like this, but when it's booming, we normally see the 1K and potentially even 2K as well. So it's part of the cycle. We're used to it. But yeah, the guys that are here on the days that are not the best, thank you for joining us on the Sunday as well. We'll try to be here as much as we can. But yeah, no, I just want to agree with what you said as well. Like previously, I think you were one of the people that we kind of came to for advice with, financial investments and crypto, and you was always against memes, and now it's like it's, you know, it seems like it's the center of attention for maybe like a lot of participants that may have had that you know, that you know, utilities only kind of like philosophy where, you know, we'd only just buy utility coins. It seems like now we're starting to see influx of investors come into the memes, and when you get something that has like a strong solid community and then it, you know, just takes over, which is the CTOs of a coin, more often than not it does obviously have an increase in gains as well when you get in when the CTO just starts. So yeah, just look out for a lot of coins that will be going through that phase of, you know, going through, you know, launching, rugging, and then when a CTO happens, if you're in there when the CTO happens, more than likely you will get your gains. It's like we say, we don't have a crystal ball. You don't know how long those gains will last for. So always take your profits, always take a percentage off the table. You know, that I hear a lot of people complaining when people sell a coin, like, why did you sell? Why did you take your profits? Like, guys, just take your profits. Like, you'd rather have your profits than someone complaining why you've taken profits. So, you know, just take your profits whenever you can.
Take your initial investment out early, take a little bit of profits here and there, and always leave a moon bag. Just like we say, when you dollar cost average in, that's called laddering in. Well, the flip side of that token is laddering out. Don't cash in all at once. Don't cash out all at once. You know, divvy it up. And I always try to leave a little moon bag for everything that I'm in, because you just never know when it's going to hit or what's going to happen. Absolutely. Who would have thought I would have talked about memes, eh?
Not me. Amir, how about yourself? Like, what are you looking at right now, and what's perking your interest? Are you into memes right now, or is it just a bit of everything?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. That you got cut off.
Sorry, I was saying, are you into memes now, or is it a bit of everything?
Honestly, if I find anything cheap and that's that's interesting, you know, that people are talking about and there's demand, then I'll look at it, and if I see good volume in it, then and I see that it's at good value to buy, I would jump in. You know, I wouldn't jump in at the top like most people do. That's the easiest way to get wrecked, especially in the meme coin space, because of the low liquid nature, even lower liquid nature in the memes. Like one seller that has huge volumes of coins that just sells, it would just, you know, crash and rug the chart, you know, and you just lose everything. So you have to be very careful. You have to buy low and you have to sell high. And also, I want to mention one last thing before we go. I was actually I've discussed this with many people actually, and a lot of people are worried these days because of the advancement in AI and how it's going to take over the jobs in the next few years. Majority of the jobs that are out there that people are working right now, a lot of jobs are going to be taken. So I think that it's very, very necessary that you learn a skill. You start learning a skill that can yield you some money, that can make you some money in the future, you know, so you don't have to depend only on your job. And that's one of the reasons I'm actually working on a trading course right now. I'm creating a trading course, and I've refined a really, really simple strategy for even beginners to learn. But the thing is, you have to be dedicated and you have to be very disciplined, and that comes with it as you go through your trading journey. And I will be updating you guys more on that in the future. And if you want to know and find out more about it, you can follow me on the X. And if you go onto my bio, if you share my screen camera, 1 second, I'm going to show them. Am I on? Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you go to my page and you click on Zero Line, that's one of my companies. And I'm going to create a trading course here. And you can even follow me and subscribe to us on YouTube. And we're going to have a trading course. It's mostly going to be in the FX market, in the Forex market. So we're going to teach you a very simple strategy. And it's mostly supply and demand. That's what it's based on. And, you know, we can get you started, man. And, you know, just give us a follow, and we keep you updated on that.
I absolutely love it. You guys over the last few years, it's been amazing to be trading with you. and see the growth, see the learning we've all done together in the markets, and same with the communities we've been in. It's been a great journey, and thank you to all those that have tuned in. We're looking forward to next Sunday. I'm really excited personally about starting to bring on some guests for the show of these projects so people can learn more, because it's great for us to talk about them and introduce them to people, but it's even more powerful when they meet the people that are actually behind them. So really excited for that to start for our community that does tune in to us. And with that, I hope you had a hell of a week this week. Don't panic. Definitely just keep your eyes on the prize. I see some consolidation happening overall, which means ups and downs. Ups and downs is the most boring part or most frustrating part of the markets. But I think that's where we're at for now. Gentlemen, any closing words, as I do not have any comments from our viewers to look into anything?
No, nothing from me. Yeah, thank you again to all of those that are watching again. And if you have any ideas on how we should change this, or how we can kind of be more informative, that's always good. You can send DMs to the Cryptoverse3_ page on Twitter, or you can just hit myself up, or hit Canon Crypto up, or hit Mr. Goat3D up on how we can improve, because we're always open to improvement. But yeah, that's it from me.
Mr. Goat3D, any last words? Mr. Goat3D.
I mean, just wants to go now.
Yeah, he's out. Ladies and gentlemen, peace.
Peace, guys.
You know,